Hey there, this is K4A Knowledge for All, and in this video today we are going to learn some differences between bitmap and vector graphics. And you will need this for your personal projects maybe in future, but for me and my tutorials I think I use vector art mostly in Scratch and will try to use vector art mostly. But okay, let's see what are those two different kinds of artwork. By default we have this cat sprite on the screen. I will select it, make a group of it just to select it easier, and as you can see this cat, the way if someone asks you how would you describe it, probably most of you would tell it's a cat, but it's not a real cat. It's not photo of real cat. It's a cat that someone draw, illustrated, painted, and that's exactly what vector art is. If you should describe it in fastest and simplest way, especially for kids or beginners. There are some other specifics also we will maybe talk about later, but so far think about vector art as something which is drawn. It's not photo, it's not cam photo, and it's not realistic. So for example, if we have cat vector art here, what could be and should be some good examples of raster or bitmap art? Those art are opposite of vector. Vector art is, as we just said, something which is drawn, which is illustrated, and opposite of that is something which is made with camera, like you have a photo camera, you shoot a picture, a photo of it, and you import it into computer, like a photo of you somewhere doing something, whatever. So I'll try to find some examples. I will show you, for example, the first one which you see is this Amon guy, but also this Anina dance. So those look like real. Calvert Champ 99. I will click on Anina dance, and you can see that she looks like real girl, like photo of the real girl, and you can see this cat next to it, how it looks like illustrated. It has nice black border and so on, but you can see that's illustration, it's like a cartoon. And the girl on the right, she is like a real girl, photo of the real girl. That's the first difference and the easiest way that you should understand which one is vector and which one is bitmap or raster graphics. So vector art is cat on the left, and raster or bitmap art is girl on the right. Simple as that. And you can see, as I just said, when you click on Sprite library, see different examples of those vector and raster art, mostly in this Scratch application. Most raster art are people, but also you can see this puppy here. I can import it. We have a puppy which is raster, but we also have, I think, a dog which is vector art. Let me find the dog. Yeah, you can see the difference. I will hide the cat and I will hide the girl, so you see how the difference is huge and very simple to see. The dog on the left is vector art, the dog on the right is bitmap or raster art. So sometimes for your games, animations and so on, you will want to pick vector art, sometimes raster art, you can even combine both of those. It's all up to you and however you want to create and make games or animations, but also it depends on if you can draw. You will probably use vector art and draw some vector art in costumes by using these tools here. But if you don't know how to use tools to draw, you will probably make photos or download photos of people, animals, and different things and use them as raster art. And as you can see, even the tools are different for vector and raster art. So we have learned the first difference between those two, which is the second difference. The second and also important and maybe even more important thing is that you can resize or scale up and down vector art, and the vector art will not lose its quality. So I will select this dog here, make a group out of it, and when I select it now and click on one of those handles which we have learned before, circles, I can scale it, and as you can see, the dog looks exactly the same. You can even see on this big stage. It looks great. It's very sharp. It looks very, very clean and polished. No blur, no pixelation. It just looks perfect. Simple as that. The other puppy, the other dog, let's try to resize him to see what happens. Again, when I select him, first of all, the problem is that I cannot select him by just clicking on him. I have to click and drag border around it, and then it will be selected, and then I can scale it. But as you can see, when I scale it, it starts to show some kind of pixelation and like a small squares. So now it doesn't look so good when it was smaller. And maybe this dog is even, it's not maybe the best example, but we can try to see it. You see those, how his fur and skin now is made of small squares, gray and black, and how his eyes are not so clear now. And that's the other difference between vector and raster art. Vector art you can rescale to get bigger images and it will look great, but raster art, once you try to scale it, it will become blurry and messy and it will look like pixel art. You will see some small squares on it, and I think I will hide these dogs. I think it will look even better on this example here, this girl here. Once we resize her, you can see how her face will become, it becomes blurry. It becomes like pixelated mess of squares. And this is not good if you want, for example, to have it for your game, to have a big image of it. So for example, you want to have really big face of this girl in your game, and your game looks like this now. So this is not very good compared to how sharp these vector arts are when you scale them. So you see the difference, how the vector art is sharp, clean, it doesn't matter if it's big or small, and the bitmap or raster art, when you try to rescale it to make it bigger, it becomes blurry. Simple as that. Other than that, I think there are a couple of other differences, but again, let's try to make these videos shorter, so we will stop here and just, again, in case you have some, for example, sprites like for this cat which are vector art and you need them as bitmap or raster art, you can Google them as photos, as bitmap, as raster, and you will see and find the photos of the real cat if you need that, for example. Again, that doesn't mean that you can use these photos without asking or just like that, but for some simple games and free games probably it's okay. But if you need some kind of vector or stylized art, you can Google for that and you can see the differences. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in next one. Bye for now.